Apex Legends is a complicated game with a high barrier to entry for new players. It's hard, punishing and chaotic at the beginning, but once you spend some time with it, you start to notice its beauty, the unhinged creativity and skill cap this game offers you. The goal of this video is to provide a starting point for your own journey with Apex. We'll cover some basic skills that are easy to learn, yet crucial for having any enjoyment out of this game. First recommendation is very easy to implement, but most players don't do that, or they don't do it enough. Look around. Always, constantly, at every direction. Are you rotating? Great, spin like a Russian tank turret after being hit with a javelin. Well, maybe not that much, but look at the clip playing in the background. As I'm moving, I constantly look around. I pull my gun out and use its scope for zoom if I need to take a closer look. It's really simple stuff, but will instantly increase your enjoyment out of the game. It gives you better understanding of the surrounding terrain. Where is the nearest cover? What escape routes do I have? And so on. It will also allow you to see opponents much earlier, giving you time to prepare as it prevents an enemy ability to score a first hit on you. And you can spot third parties before they arrive. I recommend that when you are rotating, look a different direction each time you slide jump, like I'm showing on the screen now. Slide, jumping. Speaking of slide jumps, this is a basic movement mechanic in the game. Again, it's simple to implement, but without it you are a captain slow of Apex. Imagine playing any FPS title, but only moving while crouching. This is how you move in Apex when you are not slide jumping. To do it easily and often, I recommend binding a secondary jump button to your mouse scroll wheel, like shown on the screen right now. I prefer scroll wheel down, but of course it's a matter of preference. You can also turn on auto sprint to do it even easier. I generally recommend this, as you can slide jump much faster and you already are sprinting, like 90% of the time, so your hand can get tired of constantly pressing shift. But I know that many people prefer playing without it, so my advice would be to try both options yourself and just pick your poison. So how do you do a slide jump? First, you need to sprint for a second to gain momentum. Then slide and jump at the end. Finally, hold W key and sprint while you land. You can't do them constantly, as they have 2 or 3 seconds cooldown, so once you land you need to sprint for a while to make another. You want to slide jump as often as you can, so you just have to feel the timing yourself, but it won't take you long. Once it will become second nature, you will notice that everything you do is faster and the movement is much more satisfying. Inventory management. You should have your inventory planned before the game. This way you have a clear goal to achieve, allowing you to focus on more important things happening in the game. I will show you my preferred inventories for each backpack sizes on the screen right now. You can use them yourself or as a reference point for creating your own style. To briefly talk about items priority, top 3 would look like this. First, weapons. Without a gun you are basically useless. Ammunition is second, because without ammo you are useless as well. Third are heals. Basic rule is to have at least 1 stack of big heals, so 2 batteries and 2 medkits. As for small healing items, 1 stack of syringes and 2 stacks of cells is an absolute minimum. If you have more backpack space you want to expand the number of shield items, as you will use them more often and they take less time to pop. You generally want to avoid taking damage to the flesh if possible. Looting. Now that we have concluded inventory management, let's talk about looting. We will take this clip as an example. While dropping, you want to look around to see where the enemies are landing. This way you can predict their movement later in the game and avoid heavily contested areas. Then, you want to plan a loot path, a shortest and quickest way to loot your location. In this case I'm going solo and uncontested, which means I want to loot the entire location. The shortest way to do that would be to do a full circle, so I will begin on the rooftop of the nearest building. This way I can quickly move downstairs and to the left, exiting near the entrance to another building. I'll go left and all the way up to the banana building, after which I turn around and start to make my way back. I skip those 2 loot bins here, I already have a lot of resources at my disposal and they are not worth the extra time needed to run up there. Finally, I'll loot my last building, leaving near the locations I want to rotate next. This way I don't waste time going through already looted areas. You also want to pre-plan your loadout before the match. I like to play Peacekeeper with a flatline or R301, so right from the start I will be looking for the first shotgun and heavy or light ammo weapon I can find. This way, you can start collecting ammo and attachments for your desired gun right from the start, while ignoring unnecessary items. This saves time and ensures that you have a maximum number of resources available for your favorite weapon. In this example, whenever I find a Peacekeeper, I will already have a blue shotgun bolt and ammo ready for it. It is important to loot fast and only necessary items, as the time spent looting is a time wasted on not rotating or fighting, which are far more important. If you loot for too long, it will often result in late entering the zone, which in turn ends up in an enemy team gatekeeping and killing you. Combat. Let's quickly talk over 4 basic combat rules, which are a baseline for any successful fight. You should stay near cover all the time, no matter if you are rotating, repositioning or fighting. When shooting, try to have half of your screen behind a cover. Use slide jump technique to move between cover pieces as you advance. This makes you very difficult to hit, increasing your survivability. When you are fighting in a close combat and run out of ammo, always swap weapons instead of reloading. Reloading just means that you will take damage, while doing none in return. You will be dead before you can shoot again. Have a short range and a long range weapon in your loadout. This might be shotgun paired with assault rifle or an SMG combined with marksman's weapon. The goal is to cover as many different ranges as possible. Carry only one ammo-hungry weapon. You won't have capabilities to provide ammo for 2, at least without sacrificing other resources. It makes inventory management much more difficult without any benefits. Finally, take a lesson from an Obi-Wan Kenobi and try to take a high ground as often as possible. I will cover why is it so strong in another video. For now just know it gives you more movement options, better vision, free cover and makes you hard to push. Third parties. And finally, let's deal with the topic of third parties. How to prevent or survive them. Try to take fights during early game, as they are generally much safer. Everyone is busy looting and fighting on their own drop spot, so there will be less teams roaming around. Avoid combat during mid-game. There will be many enemy teams converging on the zone, all looking for an opportunity to third party, as they react to shooting sounds like Rottweiler does to a child. You also need to be aware that whenever you shoot, you basically start a timer for a third party to arrive. This means you have to fight fast, be decisive. You either commit to a fight or go away. Whenever you spot an enemy team, poke them. See how they react, or if you manage to make enough damage for an entry. If you do, push them. Don't wait, you won't kill a team from a distance, they will just res, heal and restart. If there is no opportunity to push, go somewhere else. The longer you stay, the probability of a third party arriving is getting higher. To close up the video, let's analyze a single issue, which causes you to lose about half of your fights, before they even begin. Consider a following scenario. You are a blue dot and you just arrived at a new location, ending up on the rooftop of this corner building. Your teammates did not arrive yet, and they are coming from the green side, so from the bottom of the screen. You spot the red dot, a single enemy. You smell blood and start shooting, dealing some damage. And now you probably lost a fight, without even knowing about it. It's a simple mistake, but I see it across many of my games. Let's dive deeper why it is such a bad thing to do. 1. Enemy has been alerted to your presence. Now the entire enemy team knows that fight is about to happen, so forget about any element of surprise or picking off a lonely enemy. Opponents will group up and take the best fighting positions they can, so you just made the upcoming team fight harder without any benefit to your side. 2. You don't know where the rest of the enemy team is. They might be in the big building on the right side, in which case they have a clear and easy flanking shot at you. Pray that they don't push you right away, as it will result in you being cut off from your team and fighting at least a 2 versus 1 battle, which more times than not you will lose. If they are on the left side, they cut off both left and zipline entry for your team, leaving you alone and vulnerable to being pushed. If they are on the both sides of the location, it's even worse. 3. Even if you do a lot of damage to the enemy player, you can't really push and finish him off, as his teammates are near and ready to defend. If you push him, you are throwing yourself into a 1 versus 3 situation and rage quitting seconds later. 4. Your team is forced to rush for help, which might result in them getting caught somewhere in the open or even by another enemy team moving from different direction. Even if they manage to arrive in time, which won't happen often, the enemy is now prepared and healed. You already made a noise, so a third party is now approaching at your location. You've basically created a huge mess and number of disadvantages for your team, without achieving anything good for yourself. In such scenarios, just wait for your team or go back. Observe enemy movements, look for an isolated player or other good opportunity to strike. It only takes a few seconds of patience but allows you to create more advantageous situations. That's it for today. It will take some time to acquire all skills covered in this video, but once they kick in, you will discover this game for a second time. If you think about getting seriously good at Apex, I would recommend learning movement techs first, as they allow you to be much more flexible in combat. APE 7 guides on aiming and strafing are an essential read, and will change your view of the game while giving you clear path for improvement. I'll put more info in the description. And remember, it's just a game. Have fun with it, experimenting and learning are the best parts of this game. You will die a lot, just stop caring about it. I know it's hard, but once you do, game becomes much easier and funnier. Trust me, I did my share of tilting as well. Thanks for watching.